remember as far as back as when I was 4, 5, and 6, I was enamored with beauty. And the beauty was just not about people, beauty with flowers, beauty with garden, beauty with nature. And I had this passion, I had this appreciation and inquisitiveness about beauty. I had sort of this dream to be able to do something, be aligning myself with beauty in some way, shape, or form. And it became quite apparent that I need to be a plastic surgeon. As I was studying faces, and I was realizing that the nose is an important part. So again, take it back to my previous thought process, doctor, beauty. Now I'm looking at the center of the face, and that's the nose. When I look at the nose, I say, wow, this is a pretty nose. All we have to do is just do a little here, a little there. So if you go in with that mentality, inflicting the least amount of surgical trauma, with the desire to just finesse it, the nose heals quickly, fools everybody's eye. The person who I'm doing it for loves that subtlety and is able to move on without having that physical, surgical, or emotional scar or having to go through the surgery they did. And the philosophy is to just refine, look at it as a great painting, and then refine it. Fool the human eye. So the sister, the brother, the father, the boyfriend, the co-worker, you can go back to school, you can go back to workforce, you can go back and nobody knows what you did. Occasionally they'll go, did you change your hair? Did you lose some weight? You look good, but they don't know. And that's the emotion I want to evoke from my patients, friends, and family. Most of the patients, they're blown away. They go, I saw this doctor and he want to take my rib out. And it was a 6-hour operation, 3 weeks of healing, and I go, you don't need a rib. All you need is a little bump shape. What do you need a rib for? Oh, he wants to do a graft here and a graft here and a graft there. I said, you don't need it. More grafts you put, more chances of grafts moving and turning and extruding and getting infected and having a scar. Nose is what takes life from our atmosphere. The leaves, the plants, the trees, they're pouring out oxygen every morning into our atmosphere. That's what we need to breathe. Every cell in our body needs oxygen. Where do you get oxygen? Through your nose. The studies have shown that the oxygen pumped through the mouth does not go into the lungs with the same concentration and certain purity like the one which goes through the nose. As high as 90% of the noses I've seen, and I've seen over 20,000 noses in my career, as high as 90% of the noses, the septum is twisted. Straightening the septum is a very important part of the nasal surgery, and it can be accomplished with my close technique. Sleep. If you don't sleep well, next day you don't function well. And you don't sleep well if your septum is twisted. If you're breathing whole night, you're sleeping there, and your mouth doesn't have to open up, you're sleeping good. A lot of my patients come back and say, Doc, I've never been able to sleep like that. The taste. Taste is related to the smell. When you have a really bad cold, you can't taste your food. Because you're talking like that and then you're congested and there's no taste buds. So you have to have good taste buds to be able to enjoy that carrot or that raspberry or that peach or the tomato. You must have the smell sense. They're connected. It could be a life-threatening hazard. There's gas burning, gas stove is on, and you can't smell. The house can catch fire. The sense of smell is so important. It has huge amount of functionality to the nose, from the breathing to the energy, oxygen intake, sleep, taste. It improves the quality of life. I'm on a mission to get some young doctors and some professors, and my topic being finesse, subtle, closed rhinoplasty.